Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United.
Welcome, Doctor, and thank you for waiting for this long. Dr. John D. Carter is a heartfulness prefect and the founder of Gestalt Organization and Systems Development. And today he's going to talk to us about spirituality, the use of self and self-mastery. I'd like to talk a little more about his work. There is such tremendous life work that all our speakers have done, but we can only just give you just a short essence. Dr. John D. Carter earned his PhD from Case Western Reserve University's renowned organizational behavior program. As an independent consultant, John Carter has worked with top leaders of 30 plus domestic and international organizations. He's the co-founder and developer of several groundbreaking training programs in the body of knowledge known as Gestalt OSD. At GIC, John began as a student and went on to serve as a faculty, CEO, director of corporate training program, finance director, and OSD center head. He is a GIC Distinguished Honorary Fellow, a co-founder of the first IFC-ICF credited International Coaching, Training, and Development Program. John is a prefect, a naturopath, and he follows the heartfulness meditation training, and he's a trainer there. So I would like to welcome Dr. John D. Carter. Sir, could you unmute yourself?
Manzi, thank you for that introduction. And I'm delighted to be a part of the program and this worldwide conference. And I want to say hello to everyone who is here and thank them for joining me and us as a part of this session on spirituality, use of self, and self-mastery. Hopefully, all of you will let me gently touch your heart. You have a brain in your heart that is more sensitive and more powerful than the brain in your head. The little space in your heart is as great as this vast universe. The heavens and earth are there, and the sun and the moon and the stars. Fire and lightning and winds are there. And all that now is and all that is not is also there. Spirituality is an attempt to bring together everything that matters. And spirituality without illusion is about union with the ultimate. So what really matters? Everything matters. However, some things matter than others. Your practices matter. Your habitual behaviors matter. This presentation addresses two practices that matter in the field of spirituality. The two practices are use of self and self-mastery. The integrative perspective of these two practices is called Heartfulness, Organization, and Systems Development, which I'll refer to as HOSD. The intent of the integrative perspective is to enhance awareness, knowledge, and skills related to being centered, being grounded, and being connected to the original source. So a pertinent question is, what is the want? If I answer the question, who am I? And answer the question, what do I want? What is the want here? Meditation combined with use of self can enhance one's regulation of the mind, leading to more efficient, enhanced effectiveness, and a better quality of life. As an integrative perspective, these two powerful practices support the individual making a difference with their presence in both their becoming and unbecoming process. Their spiritual practice is enriched, and there is a greater chance of making their dreams a reality in the material world. The individual can contribute appropriately to the larger society without sacrificing their connection to the highest. They enhance their ability to access universal wisdom. So being centered, being grounded, and connected to the highest brings about cohesion, harmony, and peace. One learns how to observe, to reflect, introspect, related to their personal experience, using tested theory, concept, methods, tools, and techniques, many of which have been talked about by some of the other speakers. One's learning from experience, which is the only learning that is sustainable, is substantially increased. And at the core of this perspective, meditation focuses on the regulation of the mind, and practice focuses on doing something repetitively with the intent of getting better at it. This integrative perspective is an integration of love, connection, and intention. HOSD, or Heartfulness OSD, is an integrative perspective of self-mastery and use of self. The intent of the integrative perspective is to support the transformation of humankind, which hopefully we're all interested in. What matters related to this worldview is that everyone needs to intentionally move toward being able to be self-serving and whole-serving at the same time. The awareness that we receive related to this worldview is that individuals have to learn how to be centered, grounded, and connected to source, in contact with self and others at every level of system. This new perspective required us to challenge everything that we thought we knew about being centered and grounded. As individuals, we can center ourselves internally and externally. We can ground ourselves internally and externally. And this is different than what we are usually taught. At the core of this perspective is awareness and connection to source, which is always present. Source is always present. This contact between the manifest and unmanifest worlds of reality creates a potential for union and living a life that is worth living. Awareness is the outcome of our internal and external scanning and orientation processes. Awareness emerges from our sensations and our pre-sensations, and our sensations are rooted in our senses. And there's some debate about whether we have 4 or 5 or 6 or more senses, but that debate is pretty irrelevant. What matters is that we create pictures, we create thoughts, we create perceptions and impressions from our sensation awareness process. And through this process of figure ground formation, we arrive at what really matters. What really matters mobilizes our individual and our collective energy. And this often manifests as anxiety, as excitement, or in the worst case scenario, as is mentioned by some of the other speakers, fear. Energy mobilizes us to act, moving us either closer to or further away from our thoughts, our perceptions, and our impressions. And action results in contact. Contact creates some shift or change at the boundary either within us or with something or someone in the environment. This description, which I just stated, is a natural process of change. It's happening all the time in every one of us and at every level of system. And it's referred to in Gestalt theory as a cycle of experience. So we identified 4 words from our work over more than 40 years from our Gestalt OSD practices that identify what matters most related to contact. And the words are love, thought, gratitude, and harmony. Love is the most powerful force. Love is full acceptance of what is without illusion or judgment. And thought is the most powerful action. Gratitude is acceptance of our blessings and miseries, and harmony is alignment and balance. We then included 3 additional words from our experience with heartfulness meditation that matter when our aspirations is to contact the heart. These 3 words are compassion, joy, and kindness. When we brought these 2 practices of heartfulness meditation and Gestalt OSD together with these 7 words, we found that love, connection, and intention were the overarching themes that hold everything together. And this journey brought us back to our original starting point that I started with you of saying hello. In saying hello, we are asking each of you to allow us to gently touch your heart. Our desired outcome is for each of you to aspire to use your full human capacity, your self-mastery, and contact yourself and others with love. Through your use of self, which has to do with your capability, make a difference with your presence. The Gestalt Organization Systems Development Body of Knowledge represents a worldview that's uniquely suited for orienting both oneself and the collective to the natural and orchestrated processes of change in the manifest world. And meditation, combined with transmission, has a potential to connect you with Source and the unmanifest world. Together, these 2 perspectives support the process of making meaning of both vertical and horizontal developmental change. Change on both of these axes is infinite. Using a heartfulness OSD perspective, the description of spirituality is the use of self and self-mastery to support contact at multiple levels of system. And the system includes the interior of oneself and the external environment. The primary focus of the work is use of self to support natural and orchestrated change processes that support being centered, grounded, and connected to Source. Use of self is the ability to use one's full range of awareness, knowledge, and skill at any moment in time. And self-mastery is the ability to access one's full human capacity, universal wisdom, and indwelling intelligence. Enhanced awareness, knowledge, and skills create shifts and changes that move individuals in the system toward desired outcomes and reality. The intent of use of self is to support contact at both the identity and exchange boundaries. Identity change occurs internally at the internal boundaries of difference. Contact between the organism and the environment occurs at the boundary of difference, the exchange boundary. When there's contact between 2 systems or 2 subsystems, both entities change, and there's a potential of creating a new 3rd entity. Now, from a spiritual perspective, the 3rd entity always existed, and the ultimate contact is a return to this original state of union. Most practices do not explicitly acknowledge the unmanifest world. To correct this omission in Gestalt OSD, we added a 5th symbol to represent the original source from which everything emerges and everything returns. The original 4 symbols were a circle, a triangle, a square, and a line. We named this integrative perspective the heartfulness organization and systems development practice. The human heart is the integrative point in the human body, and the ethereal heart gives one access to universal wisdom. This wisdom is sometimes referred to as indwelling intelligence, which I've mentioned here. Heartfulness OSD is an integrative perspective of the whole and all the parts. And every whole is a part, and every part is a whole. However, source is not a part or a whole. So what really matters? Awareness, 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 and practice, practice, practice. Awareness and practice lead to enhanced awareness, knowledge, and skills. And how you make meaning matters. How you use yourself matters. In heartfulness meditation, we have 3 statements that basically are a statement of simply what is. And the 3 statements are, O Master, thou art the real goal of human life. We are yet but slaves of wishes, putting bar to our advancement. Thou art the only God in power to bring us up to that stage. The key to balance and harmony rests in how you center, ground yourself, and connect yourself to the highest. Centering and grounding yourself requires good figure ground formation, and how you create figure ground formation will be influenced by whether you are figure-centric or ground-centric in your orientation. The dot is a symbol representing that from which everything springs and everything returns. In Eastern philosophy, this dot is referred to as the Tao. Natural processes of change are transformational, and what potentially matters the most is this force of meaning, is your contact with yourself and the highest within you and your engagement with others. The wonderful news is that you are a gestalt, you're unique, you're human, and you're ordinary. When you allow yourself to be all 3 of these in the same moment, you are extraordinary. Everything in nature is a part of a whole. With respect to frequency and vibration, the highest is in the lowest is not in the highest. Will with a capital W and will with a small w are different and connected. Will is powerless power. Think about it. There can be a new worldview in which movement is toward being self-serving and whole-serving at the same time. The individual is oriented towards serving the whole of humanity, and humanity is oriented towards serving all individuals. Win-lose would no longer be a dominant focus in our frame of reference for making meaning related to human life. Win-win is the context, the ground, and the figure. My mother's toast at our wedding ceremony reflects this thinking. She said, I hope you have a marriage in which you no longer know where one begins and the other ends. Each of us can lead the transformational change processes that will bring about a self-serving, whole-serving frame of reference for making meaning of the cycle of life. There is a brain in the heart that serves this integrative function. The mind gives you multiple options. The heart, when it speaks, gives you one choice. Do what is right. There's harmony between will and will with a capital W and will with a small w. Let us acknowledge the source within us, each of us, and attend to our individual and collective gestalts, worldviews, perspectives, and biases. Let us place a high value on the natural change processes and strive to be one with nature. Let us meet each other with compassion, joy, and kindness, and let us seek inner cohesion and live in harmony with everyone and everything. Hello, we share a common destiny. We are one. Gestalt OSD, all of the theory, concept, and methods are based on natural human processes, so they all exist already within you, which means they're free. And heartfulness meditation is also free. There's never any charge for heartfulness meditation. And it's now being taught in many schools around the world. And Gestalt OSD has also been taught around the world on 6 continents. And there's a recently published book, Making a Difference with Your Presence, Use of Self and Self-Mastery, which is available through Amazon. And I actually believe if you are a Prime member, you can get it free. Thank you for allowing me to be with you.